Welcome back to Session Zero, where I mostly talk about tabletop role-playing games. What I want to do today, though, is start my journey into Final Fantasy VII, talking about tabletop role-playing games as I go. So, I am what I call a casual fast player. I don't do a speed run, but I do play pretty fast using some of the techniques that speedrunners use. Mainly, it's to get out of Midgar as quick as possible. I actually dislike the beginning section of this game so much that I always try to get through it as quickly as possible. Speedrunners are going to, I think, knock these guys out, but then run from most fights. I don't think you can escape from that fight. And speedrunners also have, like, they call them step routes. Step routes is knowing when to walk and when to run because of the way it affects the encounters you get. Now, I'm naming Cloud here. There are a couple names I changed throughout the course of the game, and Cloud in particular, sometimes I name something else, and I'll tell you what that is when that becomes relevant in the story. Barrett can be Barrett, although sometimes I call him Gun Arm for obvious reasons. Now, as I'm talking about tabletop here, what this first mission is, we're infiltrating and sabotaging a government installation, a Mako reactor in this case. Now, a sabotage mission could absolutely be part of tabletop. You know, you could be going into a bandit camp and destroying their water tower or their water source, something like that, so they have to move on. You might be going into a wizard's tower and destroying their teleportation circle or some other type of portal. So, lots of different ways to use sabotage in a tabletop game. You just have to kind of think out of the box. Like, the encounters I'm going to be getting are based around being in this facility, right? That's something I've done poorly in games in the past. My movement in this game is trash, too. I want to say that. Part of that is because I'm using the 3x speed. I am using Nintendo Switch, but part of it is because I'm using the 3x speed. Part of it is because I just hate the way the controls are set up in this game. I remember that scene in Captain America Civil War. I think it was in Civil War, maybe it was in Winter Soldier when they had that fight on the elevator. That could be pretty cool. In a tabletop role-playing game, that could be cool just because you're in tight quarters, right? Maybe you have a battle mat. I like to play everything theater of the mind, but it could be fun in tabletop because you've got such close quarters, you have to really think about how you're going to be doing your attacks. Like, maybe you couldn't even swing a sword very well in an elevator. Again, I take all attacks. It's going to help me grow my experience, my AP. And AP is something I'll talk about a little bit later, too. You can see here I got 7 AP. I'll explain that a little bit later when I get the control of the materia menu. There's a save point down there, but I never use it. That big thing I want to get rid of first. He can attack there. Oh, it didn't even... Also, I've forgotten to do something I should have done right away. We're going to go to configuration, set cursor to memory. I like just leaving it on wait. I know that makes me kind of a wuss. And actually, this first big boss encounter, I think it's actually better to be on active, so I'm going to leave it on active. Oops, wrong way. I wouldn't have got that encounter if I had gone the correct way there. He doesn't hit hard enough. I'm trying to farm limits here. Come on, hit Cloud. That's just going to make my first boss battle go a little bit quicker. Love the music in this game. Also, here's something weird. When I first played this game, 1997, I was 17 years old. I wondered why the way into this reactor was coming down these pipes and ladders. Well, it's because we're sneaking in, right? Like this door here that we can't actually go through would be the way you get into this reactor, not climbing down the pipes the way we came in. Let's get that and set a bomb. Our first big boss battle. We are going to pummel him. Barrett can attack again. He can bolt. But now, because I set that cursor to memory, Cloud's first option is always going to be bolt. Or highlighted option, I should say. He hasn't raised his tail yet. When he raises his tail, things are bad. See if I can get that in. Okay, good. I'm going to wait for his tail to go down. Let's Barrett. Use Barrett's limit. Bolt. That's all she wrote. Not the most clean guard scorpion, because I did have to use a potion on Barrett, but it was okay. That timer doesn't really concern me. I am going to go ahead and equip him with his better weapon. See, that automatically takes those guys out in one shot, so I like that better weapon. I do not want to have to use that. I don't want to have to use another potion on Cloud, so I may end up running from some battles coming up. Like, speedrunners don't waste a step of movement. So I wanted to talk about that guard scorpion. It's a really cool boss, basically, a mini boss. I've talked about that particular boss on this channel before, but let's think about bosses real quick. Would it be better to have that guard scorpion guarding the entrance to this facility or guarding the exit? I think either is viable, but it's kind of anticlimactic if it's at the beginning of the quote-unquote dungeon rather than the end. I'd rather have like a big challenge at the end rather than the beginning, but something guarding the entrance is still viable. I'm gonna actually, I should have just taken them because they don't hit very hard. And right there, it said code deciphered. You could have those rooms in a tabletop game and have that be some kind of puzzle or role play bit to get those doors open. Not everything has to be combat. Furthermore, Barrett referred to Cloud as ex-soldier. People who were in Soldier or are in Soldier have what they call Mako eyes. Their eyes glow with Mako because they're bathed in Mako energy to make them stronger, whatever. So going through that section, I think it's pretty reasonable to think, pretty reasonable to think that some of those guards could have been talked around, right? You know, oh, you used to be, or you are a soldier. What do you need us to do? And Cloud could say, go over there. I think there's some bad guys coming in. You know, not everything has to be combat. You could, and I think Cloud specifically could have talked his way out of some of those encounters just because of his Mako eyes. What is going on here? Now I don't have to use my potion, which is good. I'm going to end up selling potions. Now we're back on the train, and this will be a fairly long segment. I like trains in games. I think a train, a subway, like a monorail, whatever, could be really, really good in a tabletop game because it provides some certain things, right? It could be just a fast travel point. You could say, okay, we're going to go to the train station and then we're going to get off at XYZ place. You could do that. You could also, you know, depending on the length of that journey between 2 points on the train, make some rolls to see if they have encounters. That could be fun. And then, you know, having chases on a train, like you're chasing someone or someone is chasing you through the cars, could be really exciting too. In Arkham Horror, the card game, the second, I guess it's actually the third or fourth now that I'm thinking about it, scenario in the Dunwich Legacy campaign has you on a train, and a cosmic entity shows up and is basically sucking the last train car away occasionally. So you don't want to be stuck on that last car, because if it gets sucked away, you lose the campaign, or you lose the game anyway. That game is very fail forward. So if you get sucked away, you start with some trauma in the next scenario. If you make it through, you know, you get a better ending. But, you know, that could be really interesting too. Have something come up behind the train which stops the train and then starts eating train cars. That could be something really exciting too. When I was a kid, I thought she was wearing a cowboy hat. It's just her hair. And I can see that now. I don't know why as a kid I thought it was a cowboy hat, but I did. We are going to have what I'm going to call some flashing light warnings too. There's 2 times while we're on trains when we're going to get some flashing red lights. So down in the comments, you know, I have my timestamps so you could skip past that. Also, it should show up as chapters down below. So just skip over the chapters that say flashing light warning. There will be 2 of them. One coming up pretty soon, and then one a bit later. Now, to be honest, it's actually not bad in normal speed, but I tend to watch most of my YouTube videos at 2x speed. So at 2x speed, it's very noticeable. It's very flashy. Probably not as bad in normal speed, though. And I am going to try somewhat not to burn through these dialogue boxes so quick so that you can read them. There's that first flash warning. I do play this game at least once every single month and have done so for 2 years. So I generally pound through these dialogue boxes pretty quickly. Also, the guy is already gone, but like the worker that was on this train, that can be a recurring NPC, especially if they're taking the same train pretty often. Have that be someone they see and talk about, or talk to rather, regularly. And then that can become a character who might be useful, might be detrimental. You know, maybe that's someone who's talkative and nice, but who's actually not a good guy. He's going to report you whatever. Just build NPCs that are always in certain places so that the characters have a chance to interact with them multiple times. And being on a train, I think, is a natural place for something like that to happen because they're going to have, you know, conductors, ticket takers, whatever. Now, there is a save potion. There is a save crystal here pretty close, but I'm not going to use it until a little bit later. Let's go in here. We're introduced to Tifa, who I will name Tifa. This is their hideout. It's the Seventh Heaven Bar. Doesn't look like much of a hideout, although you can kind of see under that pinball machine, maybe there's something interesting going on. Let's give the flower to Tifa. There's a point in the game where you're going to go on a date with one of 4 characters. Tifa, the flower girl that we just bought that flower from, Barrett, or Yuffie, who you haven't seen yet. The person you go on the date with depends on some variables in the background. The way you talk to certain characters, the way you use certain characters, etc., affects those variables. And I've never gotten the date with Barrett, but I always wanted to because I thought it would be funny. I just need to look up how you get that date. I'm not sure how you get the date with Barrett. We're coming up on a really cool flashback here. Also, I didn't say it yet. I meant to. I had originally planned on doing these episodes in about 30-minute blocks, but I think 90 minutes is a better video. That should take me right to Shinra headquarters in this play. And the next Friday, I continue and do about 90 more minutes. We'll see how far I get here. I'm doing 90 minutes for a couple reasons. Number one, I have to record my audio, which you can see, you know, me talking. I have to record my audio through Audible, not through the same interface that the video game sound is coming from. I have to do that because no matter what I've done to change it, the audio on the game is so loud that it completely drowns out my voice. So I have to record my voice separately and then add it back in editing. And it's a little bit of a pain, but what it allows me to do is adjust the 2 volumes separately. I generally have to knock the volume on the game down like 24 decibels, minus 24 decibels, and then knock my audio up by about 8 decibels. And I just determined that through, you know, practice, trial and error. Heck, I had a time for a while when I was just getting an echo. It was recording my voice twice for some reason. And I finally got that figured out. It took me a while to be able to get the setup the way I wanted it. Bum, ba, 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 ba. There's going to be some sleepy time here soon. I get paid. Now he takes a nap. He's fully healed. Everyone's fully healed. That's why I was trying not to use those potions, because I didn't need to. Bum, 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 bum. Now, he's going to ask me to show him how to use materia. And it doesn't matter which one you choose. You still unlock your materia menu. But if you say you'll show him, then you have to go through a tutorial, which wastes time. She said, go to the man in the materia shop. I'll do that. One funny thing I want to highlight here. There's a little girl running the bar here, and she's clearly mixing drinks, right? Why is this little girl here in the bar? Put something like that in your game. Put someone who is wildly out of place in a location just to see how your players react. I think this is hilarious. I think it would even be hilarious for this just to be a little girl at a bar. You know, put that in your game. And I think the way I would probably do it, because I am going to be running a Marvel Multiverse RPG game soon, I want this little girl in the bar to actually be, you know, maybe a life model decoy, whatever. A life model decoy of a little girl, but she's got the memories of like an old man. You know, make it even more bizarre. This is not a little girl mixing drinks. It's an old man stuck in a robot of a little girl. I think that could be interesting. But don't do it creepy. As I'm saying that, it sounds like it's a little bit of a creep show. I 100% don't mean that in a creepy way. Now, this guy is going to sell me some stuff. But up here, this is the guy Tifa was talking about. When I go up here, I get an all materia, which is nice. I'm also going to get an ether. Speedrunners keep their ethers because what ends up happening is they skip huge segments of the game, and by doing that, let's go ahead and buy 3 of these, basically just for the materia slots. What happens when they skip big parts of the game is they end up being extremely under-leveled for later bosses in the game. So to make up for that, they rely on really strong magic, and the stronger the magic is, the more expensive it ends up being in costs of materia, or in terms of materia. I like him having an all lightning. I'll give him the ice, and I'll give her a restore. Now we can sell those smaller bangles we had. I'm going to sell both of those ethers and all of those potions. Oh, I didn't mean to exit all the way out. Now I'm going to buy a bunch of grenades. I'm going to buy as many grenades as I can. 42. I'll end up buying more again later. That's part of the way speedrunners get through the game, especially the early part of the game. Grenades are really good. So this is the save crystal I was talking about. I'm not going to save there, although I am going to save there, and I'll tell you why. I'm going to save right here. I'm going to make a second save of that over here in save spot 10. The reason I'm making a second save, there's a place right here where you can skip past these guards. You have to do it, you have to set it up perfectly, and it's really about clipping through the guards in a certain way. You have to like come over to a certain place based on where his hair is. Maybe there you run down, let off of run, he moves a little bit more, tap the R1, walk left until about there, run right, hold that R1. See, I've not been able to practice it very well. because it's a little bit different on Switch than it is on original PS1 hardware and I think even Steam. But basically, you skip past these guards, you clip through them, and go to a different area. The reason I made that second save spot is so that I can keep practicing this skip. This is called guard skip. And when you're able to do it, you skip about 20 minutes of the game. And that is a very useful skip. Because right now, we're going to go through a second reactor. We've got to go and crash through a church, walk a girl home, and do a whole bunch of different things that you completely skip if you're able to pull that skip off. And when the screen pops up where I would skip to, I'll show you. And I'm noting right now that my in-game counter, or not in-game counter, my counter is showing 23 minutes 40 seconds, 26 minutes 40 seconds. So when I get to that point, I'll look at the time again and see how much time I would have saved. Speedrunners save more time because they're playing faster, but and that guy there is our NPC that we can talk to many times, right? Like he's cowering. Bum, bum, bum. I just love the music in this game. I know I've already said it, but the music in this game is so good. And there's one piece of music burned into my memory because it's the first thing I ever saw my friend Jeremy do. When I went into his bedroom, he was playing this game, and I was like, man, that's cool music. And it's music that I always remember and always associate with Final Fantasy VII. So here's my second flashing lights warning. That will be in the chapters, again, so you can skip right past it. And you can imagine at 2x speed, that's going to look a lot worse than it does. Now, I think, with all the darkness, this old guy with the hat that just ran back to the front, I think he was copying a feel on Jessie, because she's going to go up and punch him. I'm not sure. I think that's why that happened. Now, this guy walking towards us is actually going to pickpocket us. There's an audio cue. He might not have done it because I didn't have enough. I think you need 100 gil for him to do that. Alright, we should be safe, and now we're going to jump off the train. So now that could be something else cool you have to do on a train, right? Maybe the plan is to jump off of the train. Maybe you have to jump off of the train. So again, just more interesting things you can do with a train in your tabletop game. Alright, come on, Cloud. Come on, talk to Tifa so she can jump out. So yeah, that save spot I made on save file 10, that's literally just so I can go back and practice guard skip, because I need to line it up differently than the tutorials are showing me. And it's just because of the graphics. Also, I meant to say this earlier, if you enjoy watching someone speedrun games, you can watch Dash Retro run this game in 5 hours, 7 minutes, and 30 seconds. I have that speedrun linked in my description and down in the comments. So you can go watch that, and it is really fun to watch someone with just complete mastery over the game. They talk about, or he talks about different things in the game, what to expect, what to do here, what to do there. You know, he pulls off that guard skip. So it's worth watching to see that stuff happen. I will never be a speedrunner because they have knowledge that I don't have the patience to learn. But watching a speedrun is quite a bit of fun in my opinion. Especially if it's a game you really care about. Like, I really care about this game, but I'm just never going to be able to speedrun it. Partly because like I said, my movement is trash. Some of that is because I've got the XXX speed on Nintendo Switch. But if you've played the game with XXX speed and then you've gone back and played it without XXX speed, it is intolerably slow. That's why I like to play it on Switch with XXX speed. That said, I am considering going full retro. I can pick up, I'm hoping to find a copy of Final Fantasy VII and an original console somewhere. If I do, it changes some of the things I do because here's a tent coming up, which is nice to have. It'll change some of the things I do because I won't have the triple speed, but I think it's going to make doing that guard skip easier for me because I will be seeing the same visual cues that the people speedrunning the game are seeing. So now I said I'd talk about AP. AP is your materia growth. So this all has only grown 18. This lightning he's had for the entire game has grown 67. Now when it gets up to 2000, it's going to get a second star, and then it'll unlock Bolt 2, meaning I can make my lightning damage more powerful. Let's look at Barrett's is Ice. That one too had been on Cloud, so it's got 67, and it'll grow to Ice 2. We picked up that materia for her a little bit later, the Restore. It is also only grown 18, but it goes up to Cure 2 and then Regen, which is nice. And finally, Cure 3. Tint is something you can only use at save crystals and the world map to save, or when you save, but it refills your MP and HP. It's really nice. And there's going to be a point in the game where I'm going to break the economy and buy all the tints I want. And some people can say, you know, that might make the game less fun. It makes it more fun for me. Breaking the economy and saying, I don't care what anything costs anymore, is fun for me. And he misses. And I do that at a place that speedrunners don't do that type of thing. I'm actually going to show you a really cool glitch. One of the only, like, real glitches I can pull off in this game. So I'm really proud of it, but it's going to be my first grinding session. Like, I've gotten to the point where I grind exactly 3 times in the game. Once, which you'll see maybe in the 3rd or 4th video in this series, and then one a little bit later, and then in the northern cave, the northern cavern, whatever it's called, right before the end of the game. So only 3 grinding sessions. And I won't show the whole grind, right? I'm not going to just record a whole video of me grinding for the whole thing. What I'll do is show you what I get out of the grind and then skip forward to say, okay, I did this for, 2 hours or whatever, and these are my results. Well, could have healed Barrett a little bit there, but not going to bother. Now, there are only a couple places in Midgar that I actually save. And mainly that's because there's something coming up that I could mess up. If I mess up and didn't have that save, it would take me a while to get back to where I was. So, again, while I'm not a speedrunner, I don't want to have to waste time. Everybody's got a limit, which is nice. Also, I think I'm going to put this ATB to wait now. So I have to climb out, even though I slid down to get into this reactor. Coming out of it is just like coming out of Reactor 1. I've got a weird puzzle here that pisses me off. Oh, shouldn't have got that fight. Who needs it? Let's give it to him. And then I'm just trying to preserve my limits. I don't want to use limits when I'm getting ready to get a boss. So now this thing is a weird puzzle. I'm going to turn off my 3x speed. As soon as I close this dialog box, I think I need to count to 3 and hit A. Basically what we're trying to do is we all need to hit the panel at the same time, but there's no real visual or audio cue about when you're supposed to hit your button. So I'm going to exit 1, 2, 3. That was a little bit late. 1, 2, 3. A little bit early. 1, 2, 3. A little bit late. I hate this puzzle. It's so dumb. It's one of those things you just have to feel it out or have a really good count. I got it there, but man, it's so dumb. I'm going to save here because while this next fight should go really easy, it is one that I could mess up. Who needs healing? No one. Let's have her. Didn't need it. I was going to say let's have her use a grenade, but... Okay, so I am going to save here. I'm going to overwrite that first save. I don't need it anymore. I actually have a second copy of that save, don't forget. Because we're going to get a battle here. And this battle should go exceedingly, especially well, but I could mess it up. Here's something fun. This is President Shinra in the Final Fantasy VII Remake. I don't especially like that game, and I never finished it. But this scene in that game is really cool, because President Shinra isn't really here. He is, like, projected with drones. So that's really cool, but I just don't care about that game like I care about this one. Mainly, that game had too much busy work. Running around doing things that don't matter, in my opinion. And it just wasn't as fun as this game. This guy should go down pretty quick. Especially since I have all limit breaks. Problem is, Tifa's limit break isn't even as powerful as a grenade, so... he can do his, and she's going to throw a grenade. And that's it, because I got my limit breaks on their back, or on his back. Titan Bangle, I don't get to equip that right away because I've got some more stuff coming, but I'm going to equip that as soon as I'm able to. Here's something about me that I'm going to tell you. In video games and in books, anytime the main character gets separated from everybody else, it makes me super anxious. Like, oh no, what if they don't meet back up? Whatever. It's 100% fiction. I think I know why I have that anxiety, but I'm not 100% sure. It's something I'm going to talk about a little bit later in the game. But still in this video. I'll talk about that in this video. We've seen this girl before. We bought a flower from her. Now, because of those variables I talked about earlier, I could be mean to Aerith, and that would maybe help ensure I don't get the date with her. Like, I could say, never saw you before. I could say, yeah, I remember, and say, oh yeah, you're the slum drunk. I'm going to say you were selling flowers. This exchange is interesting. Do you have some materia? Yes, some. Mine's special. It's good for absolutely nothing. Well, that is not accurate. Her materia ends up being the most important materia in the game. We just don't know that yet, and she doesn't know that yet either. We don't know each other's names. This defaults to Eris, which is strange, and I'll explain that a little bit later, but I'm going to rename her Aerith. Eris, I believe, was a mistranslation, at least that's what I've heard. And everywhere else, like pretty much everywhere else, you'll see Aerith with a TH because it's meant to represent Earth, which obviously ends in TH. But, like, there have been debates online, Eris versus Aerith. Never been a bodyguard? I love this music. This is the music, the theme for the Turks. We learn a little bit more about the Turks in a minute, but basically, the Turks are Team Rocket from Pokemon. They're just, you know, a little bit meaner, a little bit more dastardly. Okay, this is a rocket. Let's remember that. That'll come up again later. She falls because they were shooting. Now, this first one, I'm going to just tell her to run. Oh, yeah. Like she didn't think to do that herself. Next, oh, come on, get up there. If I tell her to run again, she's going to run into that guy, the guard on the left. I just pointed at my screen. Of course, you couldn't see that. I'm going to say hold on a minute. I can bolt these guys. I think I get 9 AP here, which is a good chunk. Oh, something I need to do as soon as I get control. I need to equip him with that better armor, and I need to... I don't have her in my party, that's why. Let's go over here and push this. No, that wasn't the one. I messed that up. I got ahead of myself. Got plenty of grenades. It just makes those fights faster. But what I should have done, though, even though she's not in my party, I still should have put this materia in his stuff. hold on a minute. I think I can still push this one over on him. Nope. Cloud, what are you doing? Yeah, I messed that up terribly. She's going to end up here with me anyway, but I totally messed that up. Now she is in my party. Let's give her some materia, although it doesn't really matter. I'm only going to get probably in one fight with her, maybe two. But don't forget, all of this would be skipped if I knew how to do guard skip. Or if I could pull off a guard skip. I know how to do it, I just can't do it on the Switch. And the guy that I have linked down in the description for his speedrun, I watched him doing a speedrun after that, and I actually mentioned that in the comments. I can't do guard skip on Switch. And he said, yeah, find explanations of it using HD remaster, or not HD remaster, but HD content, or like Steam HD or PS4, PS5, because those have the updated textures, the updated visuals that should match mine. I haven't found one of those yet, but I keep looking, because I'd love to be able to pull off guard skip. Oh, don't save. Get out of there. All right, we're coming to her place. Don't need to do anything yet. I'm just going to go to her house. We're going to pick up an ether and a cover materia. Let's go ahead and equip that before I forget again. Cover just makes it... I always go to equip instead of materia. Cover makes it so that he jumps in front of attacks. So he'll take the attack to prevent damage going to someone else. Let's go in here. Is Tifa a girl? Yeah. A girlfriend? Yeah, that's right. I'm going to say that even though I don't believe that is the case at this point. I think that's going to grow those counters with Tifa. Don't do it tonight, do it tomorrow. Partly she did that because it is late, but also, see, she recognizes he's from Soldier because of the way his eyes glow, and she's like, please leave without taking Aerith. I don't think I can. Yeah, I can't even do that. We've got to go upstairs and go to sleep. That again is going to heal me, so I don't need to use any of my potions. One thing I don't like is that I couldn't leave the house. Like, don't force your players in tabletop to do a thing or not do a thing. If they want to do it, let them do it and just, live with the consequences. Also, right here, I'm just going to walk out. If I run, it makes the floor creak and Aerith wakes up. Now, I have left Aerith's house before her. And yet, let's buy something here. Let's see. In Wall Market, I'm going to need 280 gil. That'll be fine. I could go ahead and pick up one more of these, but I need the Gil soon. I'm only going to probably get in one battle. Also, I want to go in this room. Go up these steps. If I talk to him, he says something. I don't know why he says glug glug. This looks like a little kid. He shouldn't be drinking alcohol or anything. If I open the hidden drawer, I can take or leave 5 gil. I'm going to leave it. Because basically what this kid does is starts a business. And if I come up later and haven't stolen that money from him, he gives me a turbo ether, which I can sell for quite a bit. Now, in this shop, I think it is... Oh, yeah. I don't need anything there. Let's sell what I have, though. Might as well. I'm going to sell all 3 of those. Let's sell those potions and that iron bangle. Oops, well, I might as well exit. Okay. Now I could go get more grenades. I think I am going to go ahead and buy 2 more Titan bangles. Now let's just grenade up. Let's see, that leaves 377. That leaves... I could buy 3 more, couldn't I? No. 240 leaves me 217. So I need to get 63 more gil. Yeah, that's way too many grenades. I don't need that many grenades, but it is going to mean that I can... There she is, even though I woke up before her. Or even though I left the house before her. This screen here is a pain in the butt. But I'm just going to chuck grenades. Because I have plenty. And there we go. Okay, I got 44. Oh, no, not 44. I got plenty of gil. I have the gil I need once I get to Wall Market. It's actually, even though it was sloppy, pretty clean getting out of there. Let's all bolt these guys. And then let's just start chucking grenades. Alright, still more stuff that I could have skipped. Gotta talk to her. And pay attention to this dialogue. I'll go through this dialogue slowly. What rank were you? Rank? You know, in soldier. Oh, I was... That flash of white is interesting. First class. Just the same as him. Same as who? My first boyfriend. Were you serious? I liked him for a while. I probably knew him. What was his name? It doesn't really matter. Well, it is going to matter. And you'll learn why it matters later in the game. Okay. So when I said, if you do the guard skip, I'll show you where it comes out. It comes out right here. Now, I've got 54:40 on the clock right now. That means not being able to do guard skip cost me 28 minutes of this game. Also, we get in here to Wall Market, and if I skipped all that, this would be the first place I meet Aerith. And her name is hard-coded as Aerith. So if I hadn't named her Aerith, it would still be Aerith right here if I had skipped that. Because her name is hard-coded as this in the game. So I don't know why the default is Aerith, if it is hard-coded later as Aerith, but it is. Let's go down here. We need to talk to the guy in the maroon vest. Get out of my way, Blue. Do you know Tifa? Yep, she's our newest girl. He was basically the one driving that cart. That's how we knew to go to him. Now, some stuff we can do, some stuff we can't. I'm going to go in here and sit down. I'm going to order the special. It's going to cost me 70, so that's 70 of the 280 I needed. It was all right. We get a pharmacy coupon. We're going to go right down to the pharmacy and exchange that for a digestive. We're going to exchange that in a minute for something else as well. Now, I am going to save here. I'm going to use up that tent, even though I hate to do it. Oh, I don't need to because we rested again. That's very nice. So I'm going to save and again overwrite that save spot. And now, since I've talked to the dude about Tifa, he said go to Don Corneo's. Corneo, I believe, is Italian or something for horny. I heard that somewhere. And Don Corneo definitely is. Also, I am going to... Yeah, that's fine. Alright, if you saw my name or my face jump up there in the corner, it's because I needed to use the restroom. So, first thing I want to talk about in this... this place is called Wall Market. This is an interesting little town. There's a diner, a pharmacy, there's a dress shop, which is this right here. There's a boxing ring. There is a brothel. There are a couple other smaller shops. There's Don Corneo's mansion. A really interesting kind of town to model a tabletop town on. I have thought about doing that before. Like, in D&D, there's the town of Phandalin. Why don't you re-theme that town? Basically, use the map, but make it like Wall Market. The big mansion on the hill, that's Don Corneo's mansion. The small temple little thing, maybe that is the pharmacy. You know, just think about some cool ways to take something familiar. We need to do option two here on the dress. I almost just went through that too fast. Now, let's go up to the bathroom. Someone in there is getting sick. Let's give her medicine. We're going to give her that digestive, and she returns a sexy cologne. Alright, what we're doing right now is gathering things to dress up like a woman for Don Corneo. If we do all of the things, there are 4 things we can get. If we do all 4 of them, Don Corneo picks Cloud for the night, and that saves us some time too. If he picks Aerith, and I've never actually had him pick Tifa, I don't believe, but if he picks Aerith, we go into a room and have 2 battles. And that, of course, eats up time. But we talk to this guy. He wants us to go to the inn. Don't, like, bump into that guy. You don't even need to talk to him. If you bump into him, he starts talking. Let's stay the night. Okay, that's 80 of the 270 or 280 gil I needed. And when we buy the one for 200, that is the other 200 gil we needed. And I actually forgot I needed to do that. That would have been extra stupid for me to use that tent. Alright, now we got the thing that this guy up here... We got the thing that this guy up here needs. Diamond Tiara. Now we only need one more thing, but before we check it out, we go back in here. He has made our dress. And she said we need a wig. So we've got the dress, the cologne, and the tiara. We need to go in here, but I'm going to save before I do, because this is something you can mess up. I've messed it up before. So I'm going to save it. And what happens in here is we're going to do a little squat mini game. I think you can get fewer squats than the other guy, and if you do that, you can retry. But what we want to do is get more squats than the other guy, and if we do, we get the blonde wig. Now, I have messed up before and gotten exactly the same number of squats before, and if we do that, we get the dyed wig, and the dyed wig doesn't do it for us. We need the blonde wig. Okay, we're going to do YBA, YBA. We're just going to keep doing that over and over again. I got it. I don't need practice. If you say practice, you have 30 seconds of practice, so it's a time waste. So as soon as I do here, as soon as I clear this box, we'll start. It's just YBA, YBA. And if you are just a little consistent, like as long as you don't mess up, you can beat this guy, because he's going to mess up like twice. So as long as I don't mess up, I should be fine. Even if it's just by 1 or 2 squats, just getting more than him is all I need to get the gold, or the blonde wig. I got 18, he got 14. Got the blonde wig. She's, I guess, angry that he lost the wig. Let's turn 3x speed back on. We need to go back and change into our outfit. I'm ready. Alright, now we're changed and can go to Don Corneo's. Also, I want to show a couple things first. See, I've got 467. Let's look at our items. We got a silk dress, a diamond tiara, sexy cologne that amorously arouses, and a blonde wig. If you get all 4 of those, you are chosen. Now, I do have a limit break, which is nice. I'm going to save that for Apps, who is a boss that's coming up. And do I? Yeah, I do have that on her. So we're good to go. Let's see. Like, I could go ahead and buy that metal knuckle for her. It's not going to really matter in the long run, because I'm going to, at some point, maybe in the next video, but it'll probably be the video after it, get a weapon for her that I'm going to keep on the entire game. So I don't necessarily want to waste this damage, or waste money here. He is equipped with that. I could get a couple, or at least 1 diamond bangle. I don't really need this extra armor. The extra armor is nice to have. What do they? Yeah, they've got 2 link slots, but once I get into the Shinra building and have the steel materia, I'm going to be able to steal better armor than this. So I'm just going to hold off. Let's go back up here. Your friend's hot too. Come in, come in. wait here. Don't wander around. No, we're going to go downstairs. You know, and I've actually never messed around on this map. I don't know if there's anything hidden in here or not. But we are going to go down here. We go up some stairs and then down some stairs. He's embarrassed, so he pulls back. This is a really sleazy dude. Like, he gets a new wife every day, and this room looks like a torture chamber. We just met, it's nothing. What do you mean, don't worry? About what? Watch Tifa jump here. I think it's the funniest thing. Cloud? So yeah, in your tabletop game, put a really sleazy dude who you really dislike and let the players do something about him. Do you trust me? Yes. No kind of jealousy here. It's all fine. And I meant to talk about it when I was collecting the dress and stuff. Have a little collection puzzle or series in a tabletop game. I have to go to the right of him here. I had a blast when Legend of Zelda, it's the one on Game Boy, Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening came out. My dad bought me a Game Boy for Christmas and got me that game with it. And that had a cool little collection / trading puzzle where you would get this thing and trade it somewhere else to get a different thing. And by the end of the train, I think there were like 20 things you had to trade. You got a magnifying glass, which you needed to solve the puzzle of the final dungeon. So something like that, a little trading puzzle or just a collecting puzzle, but not like collectibles that we see in modern games. Like, don't have a million things to collect just to collect. Have some things that they can collect along the way that have, like, real meaning. There's a hyper back here. Where is it? Whatever you want, Daddy. If you don't talk, what is this one? Smash? I'll rip it off. The next one's Smash. Heidegger of Shinra, who we're actually going to learn about here in just a moment. She's going to smash it. Shinra's trying to crush a small rebel group called Avalanche and want to infiltrate their hideout. And they're really going to crush them literally by breaking the supports holding up the plate above them. So, the Shinra company here is planning to destroy a large section of the city just to take out Avalanche. Now, it's going to defeat, because I don't want to use the K word, a bunch of people on top of the plate, everybody below the plate. It's pretty dastardly, it's pretty despicable, pretty evil. Now, when I get here, I don't know if choosing a different one matters. I always just do because I'm sure I'll win. And he drops us to the sewer. But not before we get a cutscene. Now, this guy talking is Heidegger. We just heard about him. Everything's going smoothly. I assigned the Turks to it. Oh, and I forgot to talk about the Turks. I blasted through their dialogue. Basically, the Turks look for people to bring into Soldier, but they also do spying and murder, stuff like that. That was Aerith's dialogue, or Cloud's dialogue to Aerith. So the Turks can be a really cool recurring enemy group, right? Recurring enemy party. This guy in the suit, his name is Reeve. Remember that name for later. Alright, now we are in the sewer. I'm gonna... let's equip. I think everyone's got what they need. I think we're good. Oh yeah, I want to give her that restore materia. Now growth is going to be the same, but like Cloud I want to be hitting with for the most part. And again, her level break isn't actually that great. But I'm going to talk to Tifa first. Then come over and talk to Aerith. That puts me right by that ladder. So when battle gets over, I can just jump right up that ladder. Here is apps. Alright. Cloud can brave her. Tifa can grenade. And she's going to grenade. Now he needs to go back to grenade. And now everyone's on grenade. Now his... oh, lick is bad. When he does his area attack, it actually hurts him too and should knock him out. Yep. So that's one of the ways speedrunners save time. Just throw grenades. That's why I bought so many. I've got several more battles where grenades are going to be super helpful. Alright, right up the ladder. Okay, I'm going to equip that right now because sometimes I forget to do it. And we might get to steal something real easily here very soon. Yeah, let's ice, let's bolt both, let's limit. We're going to come out in the graveyard. This is a train graveyard. Oh. Movement in this map is crazy too. Now all of those barrels have something in them, but I don't really need to go get them. It's just wasting time, and that wasted a lot of time. Let's do a healing wind, might as well. If he critted, let's just knock him out. Like he critted and it still didn't knock him out, but fine getting that experience. Get in there. Just gonna run here. There's an item that they give which is really good, but I don't want to mess with it. Alright, now on this screen, hopefully right around here, I'm gonna get... come on, give it to me right away. There's a battle with a dude pulling chariot. I can never remember the name of the enemy, but I can steal a really good weapon for Aerith right here. This is the battle. You can tell by the camera move. So she is going to chuck a grenade. She's going to attack Cloud because he just got put to sleep. And then, steal. Now that said couldn't steal. Couldn't steal and nothing to steal are different. Just trying to steal this item. Sometimes it comes really fast, sometimes it's really slow. He's starting to irritate me. Let's do some healing. Oh, I'm getting angry. I'm wasting a lot of time here. I'm gonna try 2 more times. If I don't get it, I'm leaving. Oh, I got it. Wow. Go ahead and equip her with that. It really raises her attack. But we're not actually going to even need it right now. What armor did she have, too? Yeah, she has bronze. That's fine. Let's move this train. Now, there are some interesting items to steal. Like, once I get to Shinra, I'm going to be able to steal a better sword for Cloud. I'm going to be able to steal better armor for everybody. Come on, run. Then this one moves. I think this is a high potion. Yep. Probably get one more encounter. Alright, now I am going to come up on a save point here. I'm going to save it because this is another place I could mess up. Biggs and Wedge. Of course, those come from Star Wars, but they're also characters who show up in a lot of Final Fantasy games. In my Final Fantasy Tactics game, I've renamed 2 of my male characters Biggs and Wedge. And let's save here. And I've got a female who I always end up being either... Well, they end up learning almost everything, but they end up being a black mage at one point. And I named her Vivian. In Final Fantasy IX, the black mage character is Vivi. And so I name my black mage in Final Fantasy Tactics Vivian. So Wedge, Biggs, Jesse, and Vivian. Oh, I got out of there without any pincers. That's nice. I shouldn't have got one more battle. Oh, and now this is a pincer. Those guys hit hard. Now, you can't just mash through here, because you want to be able to access the menu. I think basically everyone's got something equipped. No, we do still have that ice, which should have been equipped because it hasn't been growing. Oh no, that was on Aerith. Or, yeah, that was on Aerith, never mind. But let's see, our lightning is growing pretty well. Our all is growing well. That cover will be nice. When it gets up to 5 stars, it becomes 100% cover. Oh, what was on? Okay, she's got sadness, which is fine. Sadness means they take less damage, but it also means their level meter grows slower. So finish and do this. It's all, folks. Mission accomplished. Basically, they are blowing up this plate. Now, this is not a terribly difficult battle. And she actually would have been better just throwing a grenade. That was dumb. I'm actually going to have her attack the pyramid. And it's done. I've messed that battle up before, though. If you mess it up, you get a game over and have to try again. That's why I always save right before that battle. Now, I should still have loads. Let me look real quick. I should still have loads of grenades. Yeah, 57 is more than plenty. I don't need to buy any more. So I might still end up buying that good armor. Notice Aerith on that helicopter. So yeah, the Turks would make a really good enemy adventuring party who really do bad things. That would be really fun to build into a tabletop game. Especially, like, I'm thinking about doing, or I am going to be doing, my Marvel multiverse RPG. You know, just have an adventuring party of Hydra or AIM, right? Someone who is just going around doing bad stuff and you're always trying to clean up after them, or they're always just trying to interfere with you in some way. Go talk to Barrett. He jumps. Talk to her, and I will join them. Really cool cutscene here. Like, watch, there's a little TV on here with a guy doing a newscast. Watch that TV. The main thing I need to make sure of, and that's why I keep looking over to my other monitor, I need to make sure I'm not dropping frames in Audible, because that would mess things up terribly bad. And right here, here's the president just listening to his music, watching all that happen. A lot of people just got unalived, and he's just listening to his music. I'm going to pick up that piece of materia, but I'm just going to use it for growth so I can sell it later for money. I'm not really going to use it. Actually, I'm never going to use it. So yeah, usually in Final Fantasy Tactics, and I've played through it, you know, I played through it back in the day, but I also played through the new version, and I always end up with, or I specifically get 2 male characters, 2 female characters. The males are both Biggs and Wedge. Females are Jessie and Vivian. Like, every time I play it, I name them that. Destroyed an entire village just to get to us. Lining their pockets with gold. That'll come up again soon as well. Oh yeah, that girl. What's up with her? She's the one I left Marlene with. Gotta have them join the party. Then I can go back and get that. Just equip it somewhere for some growth. The materia system is a very different way to implement magic, not only in every Final Fantasy game I've ever played, but like I've never seen anything similar. Well, I have seen some stuff similar. Like the Eberron setting has some stuff that's a little bit similar to that, and the Terranoth setting from Fantasy Flight Games has some stuff that's somewhat similar as well. Let's give him that sense, even though we don't care about it. Also, he should be in the back row. This map is trash. I'll get at least one battle here, but I've got loads of grenades to chuck. Yeah, let's do grenade, grenade, and bolt all. But I only got one battle there. Alright, we're going back to Aerith's house. Let's go back in here, pick up that Turbo Ether. I bought an item with the money I saved. That was the $5 or the 5 gil we didn't steal. My dream is to grow up and become a big-time dealer on Wall Market. I'm feeling pretty good today, so I'll let you have this Turbo Ether. That is way better than 5 gil. In fact, I'll go ahead and sell it. Also, that's not where I wanted to go. I don't think this is either, although maybe this is the materia guy. Like, I could get 2 more restore. I like to have a restore on everybody, but it's not really necessary. I like to have fire, but I'm going to get another fire in Shinra building, so I'm not going to bother with that either. Let's go up here. Got plenty of grenades. Let's just do some selling. That's only one, so I'm not going to sell it, but it's very good, so it's worth not selling. Sell the ether and the potions. We can sell her guard stick, and we'll sell those high potions as well. Then, I mean, 53 grenades is plenty, so let's go. I'm going to save. Yeah, because that armor I could get was in Wall Market. So we're going to go here. That's what Aerith wanted. Aerith came there to draw Turks away from them. She's an ancient, the sole survivor. The story in this game is phenomenal. I love the story, love the music, I love the materia system. This game, even though I've played many, many games in my life, is my 100% favorite game of all time. Not only do I love everything about it, it has some real nostalgia. I think I said it in my teaser video, but this is the first video game I ever bought for myself. It's also the first game I ever bought a console specifically to play. Like, I had watched my friend Jeremy play this, and then I went that weekend and bought a PlayStation and Final Fantasy VII. And I went home and played it, and I was like in a rush. So I missed some of the story early because I was kind of in a rush to get to the point where I had seen my friend Jeremy playing. Now, it took me a couple of days to get to that point. But I got there and thought, okay, now I can slow down and enjoy the story. So the first time I played this game, I wasn't really paying attention to the story too much. Having played it now about 24 times, literally, because I play it every month, and I have for the last 2 years. I've really paid attention to the story. I've paid attention to what's going on, and I just absolutely love it. So, War Orphans is kind of what that was talking about, but not exactly. Have War Orphans in your game, too. Anytime there's a war, there are going to be orphans left behind. So, that's just kind of a real-world thing that happens. So, incorporate that into your game in some way as well. Even if it was a war that ended 50 years ago, well, some of the, 40, 45-year-olds, well, if it ended 50 years ago, they'd have to be older. The 55, 60-year-olds in the game were war orphans. And have that tie into your game in some way. I think that would be a really cool little, nugget, little module to put into a tabletop game. And I kind of want to talk about it that way. Module has the connotation of, like, adventure. But just little things you can add into your game can be, quote-unquote, modules. The War Orphan module brings some baggage with it. If there are war orphans, there must have been a war, right? So tie that into your story. Let's leave. She's going to say, you're going for Aerith, aren't you? Yep. I'm coming with you. She's not jealous of Aerith in any way. Although there is some dialogue that sounds a little bit jealous a little bit later, but it's okay. All right, now we've got to get back to Wall Market. Basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to get us right to the Shinra building and save, and that'll be the end of this episode. Yeah, whatever, going back to the term module, whatever modules you put into the game, think them through, right? If there are war orphans, there must have been a war. That's part of it. Let's just grenade him. If a module is going to be a different type of magic system, the explanation for that magic system is part of that module. That's the way I'm going to run from these. That's the way I look at modules, not just adventure. Oh my god, if they don't run, I'm in trouble. I do have a tent and I'll have a save point, so we'll do that there. Could save in Wall Market, but I'm going to save right in front of Shinra. So you just have to run into that guy. Don't go in there. Don't need to go in there, but let's go in here. First thing I need to do is buy some batteries. I'm going to do that first because that cost me 300 gil. Then we'll go up here. Oh, I've got plenty of gil. We'll go ahead and get her better weapon. And we can go ahead and get 3 of these, even though I'm going to end up stealing some. Let's equip everybody with the better armor. And let's give her that better weapon. I don't think there's any floating materia. Yeah, because I didn't buy any extra materia. Let's sell that old stuff. Again, 50 grenades. I like to go into like this next session with, or section with 30 grenades, so 50 is plenty. I could sell, I don't have any unequipped, so I'm not worried about it. Although I do want to check something. So I put that sense materia on. It's got 14 AP. I believe I could sell it right now for 14. Yeah, price through AP 14. So that's the only reason I'm growing this materia, because whatever AP it has, that's how much I can sell it for. So this materia maxes out at 70. I could sell it for 70,000 when I master it. I'm not going to get close to mastering it. But it is interesting to note that whatever AP your materia is at, that's what you can sell it for. Right? These kids, hey, want to see something awesome. Can we climb it? Yeah, it leads to the upper world. So part of the reason, at least that's what I'm going to say, part of the reason my movement is so bad in this game, number one, it's because I'm using the Nintendo Switch controller, but also I am running that 3x speed. That moves everything a little bit faster. And I don't know if that's why my movement is so trash, but that's what I'm going to say. Like sometimes, because of that 3x speed, you just want to move a little bit and you end up moving a lot more than you expected. See, I didn't want to jump back over there. Put another battery here. Climby climb. And we got to make this jump. This section is so stupid because it's so simple, and yet it always takes me 2 or 3 tries. And it makes me look stupid. I hate this stupid section. Too many attempts at that is so dumb. I could go down to that other box that needed a battery, but it's just got like an ether or something in it. Something I don't necessarily need. Now we're at Shinra headquarters. I'm going to get up here and use my tent at this save point, and that'll be the end of this episode. Boom, punch. Now, it doesn't matter which option you say here. Do you want to sneak in or go in blazing? But I like that it gives you the choice. But it doesn't matter which one you say because you're still going to get to choose which entrance you go in. Either the front door there or go to the left and climb a bunch of stairs. Oops, let's use that tent and save. Alright, that is game 1 of Final Fantasy VII. Let me know what you thought of that. Let me know if I've included enough, stuff about tabletop. I am trying to make this about tabletop games. So let me know if I did that enough, if you'd like to see or hear more of that. Let me know what you think of Final Fantasy VII. It has a very special place in my heart and my memories. All right, that's it today. Tune in next Friday. I'm going to be playing it some more. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you have a marvelous day.